I don't know exactly when I left my legalistic roots. I was in a very legalistic religion that wouldn't even probably like much of what I'm going to preach today. But I've had so many wonderful existential moments with God. I've had wonderful experiences with God, and my favorite crowning moment, perhaps for me, was not like the ending of all my problems. I'll never have another one. But I had a turning moment in Vietnam. I've told you the story ad nauseum. You have it memorized better than I do. When in my lowest moment of despair in Vietnam, when we had turned over our base camp to the ARVN, we had moved to smaller camps. Everybody was gone. All my buddies were routed out to different places. I went into another small camp as a stranger. Didn't have enough time left in the country to really be assigned to a squad to do anything. And then all of the stuff that had been going on back home, you know, the Dear John and the broken family and the family kicked out of a church, and all those things just started weighing on me. And the letters, you know, are 10 days, sometimes 7 to 10 days to get where you send it back home. And so you don't get an answer for another 7 to 10 days. By the time you get an answer to a question you wrote 20 days ago, it's irrelevant already. It doesn't mean anything. And I was in despair. I mean, I just realized when I came to Vietnam, I was going home to marry a girl, to buy a house. Knew the neighborhood we wanted to buy a house in. White picket fence out front. Literally, we thought we'd do that. And a great job. Job was being held for me. Great church. My life was pretty complete, other than I had to do a stint in the Army. Got drafted. And when that was over, I was going right back to that life. And then in Vietnam, I realized I'm not there. That life is gone. I don't have people to go back to. I can't go back to that church. They've gone upside down with my family. I can't go back to that girl. She doesn't love me at Dear John's. I don't really want to have to sit down and talk to my family about anything. And if I don't have a place to live except my parents, I got my job, that's it. And I literally didn't know what I was going to do. And I reached a low point of despair and depression. And I just went up to the gate one day, and I thought I'm just going to catch the first truck leaving, and I don't care where it goes, and I just won't come back. That'll be it. They'll hear of me somewhere. And absolutely nobody going out. That never happened. No truck came out, 30 minutes or so. I just finally went back to my hooch and fell across my bed. And I wasn't in prayer. I just knelt down and fell across it prostrate. I was not in prayer, perhaps. I mean, my mind is always on God. And there was a moment where I just reached up. My eyes were closed, and I just thought, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to pray. And so I just did this on my knees by the cot. I reached up, had a little plywood partition right there. Some idiot was peeking over the plywood and not respecting that I'm in a moment of deep despair. I'm in the darkest funk I've ever been in, not having any clue and having no respect for that. Some nut standing on a box on the other side of that wall, plywood, had reached over and grabbed my hand when I reached up. An idiot. Who would do that to anybody? And so now I'm frozen. Oh my goodness, what of my friends is so stupid he would do that? And so I didn't know what to think, and I didn't open my eyes. I just squeezed it for a moment, and he squeezed back, and then I counted to 10. I didn't want to be offensive, and so I counted to 10. So I planned. I would just say something like, "What are you doing, you nut?" or something of that nature. And so counted quickly and squeezed and got my composure and looked up, and there was nobody there. Literally no one there. Just a hand that I had squeezed, and it squeezed back. And then I just goose pimpled, and what in the world? Because I still feel it. And I heard this inner voice just say, if you'll just keep holding to this hand, I'm going to work your life out. I've got it. Don't worry about anything back home. I've got it. If you'll just hold this hand. And I'm telling you, a downburst in me. I mean, I literally had never felt that close to God in my life, and I wept like a baby on my cot. And I just knew, problem was not solved, still don't have the girlfriend, still don't have the church, family still divided, but it didn't matter anymore because I had a friend who just promised me, I'm going to take care of everything. Don't worry about anything back home. I've got it. And that was 1970, sometime probably along about November. And I have literally, from that day to this, never felt that hand again, but never for even a moment not thought that it wasn't there.